We're on.
We're good? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with sculptors, carvers, and multi-talented artists from around the world. If you're a fan of the show and you like what we do, give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Should we meet the artist? We got a pretty big panel here.
We got a good group. Yeah, what the heck? Let's meet him.
Well, let's start off with Mr. Ted Haynes here. He's a legendary monster maker and fabricator with over 35 years experience in the industry. It's the foam fabber, Ted Haynes.
Hey, guys.
There he is.
Hey, Ted.
Happy almost Christmas here.
Almost.
Very close. He's an amazingly talented artist and sculptor from Tucson, Arizona. My buddy, Matt Harper.
Hopper.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Harper.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Holidays. Yeah. My name's Paul Dever. I'm an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. Our guests tonight are artists and sculptors from Oklahoma who specialize in pumpkin, wood, and ice. Please welcome to the show, Daniel and Jonathan Miller.
Millers.
The Miller boys.
I love it. Love it. Look at that.
What's going on, Danny? Welcome back. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
It's good to have you guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Stage fright, I guess.
No, not you.
It's hard to get words out of Daniel. He's a tough nut to crack. We'll
right?
find out about John.
So how you been, man? How's everything? I know you're the Halloween Wars champ. You were just on Outrageous Pumpkins. You've been a busy boy.
Yeah, busy. Had a busy year. Pumpkins and then electrical work, and then I just got done carving some ice. Hopefully in February I'll be carving ice in Fairbanks this year.
So yeah, that's what did you do, the World Ice Championship? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I've done it 2 years. I didn't go last year, but I'm going back this year for the multi-block to try to take a medal.
How long does that last? How long are you up in the frozen tundra?
You can be okay. So that's tricky. If you do all three competitions, you could be there roughly 3.5 weeks. But if you go do boot camp, which they'll do a boot camp about 3 weeks prior, and they build an actual ice park, so you could spend 2 months up there if you want.
Oh my God, forget it.
Wow.
Who has that much time?
Never see the sun.
That's
20 below.
like the complete opposite of where you are.
Yeah. No, yeah, because like the first year I went, our coldest day was -40 and our warmest day was 2. And so I was like, yeah, that's pretty chilly.
Yeah. Yeah, you should go. Sounds like something you'd really enjoy.
Yeah, I love the cold, so that's why I moved to Tucson. Yeah, let's do it.
And I hear they have tons of IPA. Like you can't get any other beer. It's just IPA and cold weather. Yeah. Two things you love.
That's it. Just frozen air and some IPAs. I'm good. Put me down.
Awesome.
I'll be on the next flight.
Nice. Well, Danny, you've been here before. I think we should probably introduce him to the fourth member of Carvers and Creators that will be responsible for our carving challenge tonight. It is the wheel, the center spinner, and amongst other things. I will give us a rundown of what our choices are tonight.
Let's take a look.
Hello, here's the wheel. The wheel. Okay, so tonight the choices are Thryclops, Old, Guest Choice, Undead, Fantasy Animal, Elf, Krampus, Baby, Hillbilly, or Santa. All right, that's our first choice. Now the second spin will be the emotion or attribute that we're going to apply to the first choice, and that will be exhausted, expired, guest choice once again, crazy, cocky, excited, furious, sad, flustered, or confused. Oh, the options.
Don't like any of them.
So here we go. We ready?
Oh boy.
Oh, Thryclops. We were so close to a Santa.
Oh, something.
Thryclops is cool though.
3 eyes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What is our Thryclops going to be? It landed. Is that a respinner? Because it's like I'll show you.
Yeah,
it's the spinner's choice.
It's kind of stuck, but it's on the side. We're respinning.
All right, there we go.
You made a judgment.
Spin it out. Yeah.
Excited Thryclops.
Excited. Oh my.
So excited.
I was going to carve that anyway, so this is perfect.
Right.
Yeah. I had started on an excited Thryclops.
Yeah.
Thryclops, right?
3 eyes.
3 eyes.
Yeah,
Yep, 3 eyes.
Yeah, try, thry. Y, whatever. Stall.
Gonna
Right.
try to sculpt a Thriclops.
So I still have a
Good
small
luck with that.
a small one.
Yeah.
So-
You still have pumpkins, Paul?
I do have a couple, yeah. I got this one here. It's not very deep, so I'll see what I can come up with it.
Yeah,
I'll figure
I'm
something out.
facing the same issue. I got a few pumpkins, but they're not. They're
Oh.
just starting to dry out.
Yeah, Danny's
got-
up. The butternut brigade has begun.
and Jonathan's got a little tiny pumpkin there. It looks like.
Yeah. Wanker. I told him
Yeah,
where
look at
they
that
were,
little-
and he went and got one.
Jonathan, how much is that weighing? Looks like you're on mute there.
Let's see.
You're muted. Okay.
Well, let's just say it's 10,000 pounds.
Yeah, let's just call it
Yeah.
10,000.
That's-
Just
that's what I feel.
Unmute yourself, Jonathan.
Maybe I can unmute him. 'Cause I
All
don't-
right, so
here he
I
comes.
guess at this point, before we start carving, we should probably go around the horn with our what our carving oil is. Unfortunately, I can't start because I got to go grab it out of the fridge. I forgot to. The one thing I forgot to grab on my way by the fridge was the thing in the fridge, and then I sat down. And,
I'll start us off here, Paul. Well, you go grab it. I'm getting a. I had this another time, but it's just so delicious. It's called a Model Zero. It's a.
You
It's
get
a-
me every
it's a-
time with that Model
it's-
Zero.
That's what I read. I don't know. Model Zero. Sorry, it's a Latin American beer of some sort, but delightful, just delightful.
Sorry, I pulled a Houdini.
Oh, nice.
Pretty
Glad
good.
you're back. Ted, how about you? What are you imbibing this evening?
You know, it's probably no secret that we're recording this one, and since it's a different time that we normally do, I'm in California. It's 11 a.m. here, so I'm going with Earl Grey tea. So
Or just straight gin is how
you never know what might be in here. I'm saying it's Earl Grey tea.
I like it. Mr. Daniel, what are you having tonight, sir?
oh boy!
Crown Royal.
In a
Matches
bag.
your shirt.
God bless us, everyone. It is the holidays.
I like it. And you notice he didn't say anything. He just held it up and laughed.
Didn't need to say.
Picture's worth 1,000 words on that one.
That's exactly right. All right,
Nice.
I don't know if your brother's off of mute, but let's find out what he's.
Nope, he's still on mute.
Get off mute. Jonathan, hey, weirdo, you're on mute. Your mic's muted.
We can't hear anything you're saying.
Must hit the
Don't
mute button.
technology.
You guys have mute buttons out there in Oklahoma?
No, not that we know of, apparently.
How
All
about
right.
how about
Well,
you do
just hold
sign
it up.
language?
We'll-
Does he know sign language? Because we could do that.
Yeah, I don't
Well, let's
He's
hold it.
probably
Let's
still here,
hold
still.
the beer up. Let's
Yeah,
see
just
how-
There we
hold
go.
up-
Just hold it up. Oh,
Just hold
there
it
he
up,
is.
and we'll take a good look. There we go.
There he is. Oh, he's drinking Monster.
Too
Now
close.
you really, that's a little too close.
And
Hold back, hold back.
pipeline
There you
punch.
go.
Monster.
Pop
Okay.
on punch. Can y'all hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Hi, good. I didn't
Excellent.
know I was muted. Yeah, I'm having a pop on punch.
I love it. Oh, you got something else to go in it? Oh, you're okay. Well,
Oh, well.
that would be awesome.
Oh,
I love it. All right, Paul. What are you enjoying this evening, sir?
Well, as you know, Ted dumped the bag on the we're recording, so
Oh no.
it's not 11 a.m. for me. I will have I heard Matt, you had a Latin American flavor, right?
I
So,
certainly do. We're
what did you call it?
the Model Zero.
The Model Zero. Fantastic.
We are we are back to across south of the border today. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Eddie and Ted,
Cheers.
you're
Merry
Cheers.
Christmas, happy holidays, all that good stuff.
that's right.
I should have had some eggnog.
Ah.
Oh yeah.
Then you can
Well,
get
hot-
away with putting booze in it because it's a holiday,
Of course.
Yeah.
no matter what
A
time
hot
it is.
toddy. That sounds even better.
Yeah,
I
I
normally say it's 9 a.m. somewhere, but
Yeah.
I do have to use power tools this afternoon.
Oh, that's all right. There you go. That place.
All right.
I've got an excuse. I'm hanging a door. I'm hanging 2 doors today, and so
Save a
whatever.
finger. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what levels are for.
That's right. Well, I've got the 9 left, so
Yeah. Well, we'll get started on the Triclops, who is excited.
Yeah, and let's jump into the Miller Hour.
Let's take a few look at some of Mr. Miller's artwork there.
Yeah, that was at the Bengals game, Bengals Seahawks game with me and Tater.
Oh my gosh!
Now, were you just carving there, or did somebody?
No, we were carving there with the tailgate Jim. I may have said that wrong. He's like a famous tailgater, and so he had us there. We were carving for a little boy named Gavin. So you can see the Bengals thing there, but his favorite character, I guess, is Venom. So I did Venom in the middle. Then we just kept carving. And then we went in and watched the game. But it was a little shindig for Gavin's terminally ill, and so it was for him as well.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's really cool.
Yeah, they came out great, man. That's for a good cause. Love it. You're always down for the good cause.
I thought I looked at the person on the left. I thought that was one of your carvings for a second.
On the left, that was Tater's.
Okay, never mind.
Self-portrait.
Yeah, he did a self-portrait of himself. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I thought the actual person was one of your. Never mind. All right.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. Hey, I did get the biggest pumpkin of my life this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2,227 pounds.
Holy crap! Where'd you get it?
At Operation Pumpkin in Ohio. It's an event they have there every year, and I got invited. There was a whole slew of us: William Wilson, me, Tater, Dave Smith, Lenny Calvin. There was a whole bunch of people there. And
You just named a bunch of people who have been on the show. So you know what the
I
hell?
bet I can keep naming. There'll be more of them. I'm trying to think. Lisa.
Was Liz there?
Yeah, she was there. She and I actually teamed up on a lighted display. And then who else was there? My gosh, there was a bunch. But it was a great time. It was a fun time because we carved like 90 pumpkins, 90 Big Macs in 3 days, and then the last day we all got the ones. Everybody remaining got to choose a giant pumpkin, and we drew numbers, and I just happened to get lucky enough to get that one. It wasn't the heaviest one there, but it was pumpkin way off at the same time, so they wouldn't let us have all of them. You know what I mean? I got that one for sure.
So they would you draw straws? Like, how does that work? Like, how did you
for the big pumpkin? No, they would put numbers in a hat, and then I drew. I think I was like 5th up, but a lot of them were scared of that big pumpkin, and it wouldn't have mattered. So as soon as I found out that one was up for grabs, it wouldn't have mattered what it looked like. Just at that point, that's the biggest one, so I'm gonna, the biggest one I can get ever. So I'm going to try it. And I just wound up making something with ram's horns on it. And I thought we had like 10 or 12 hours, and it wound up being like 8 hours. So I kind of had to rush it. That's a lot of mass to move in 8 hours.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, Matt, you haven't done anything that big, right?
Not that big.
I know I have.
Yeah, and I know that they get kind of watery, like a big honeydew melon when you get into some of that stuff. But what would you make with that big one?
Yeah, actually, see, I was really surprised by that. Most of them are. Most of the Atlantics that I messed with, until then, the biggest one was 1,200 pounds. But I've done a lot of 500 to 800 pounds, and they're always real mushy, But that one that really held up. It had a lot of good. It wasn't soft. It was pretty firm. It was nice to carve. It's just so much of it.
Yeah.
Really?
What'd you end up making? I know this is from Halloween Wars. We'll talk about that. But what'd you make with that big one again? What was the?
Oh, that right there. That's the centerpiece of an octopus. So I think that one was Belly of the Beast, and so we had the backdrop was like the inside of a fish's mouth with teeth coming down, so it looks like you're looking out his mouth. And as you can see behind me, Hammy was working on the scuba diver. She's in midair with holding her breath, and this octopus is pulling her down, and then we had other sea creatures in there.
Yeah. Tell us about this, because you were on. Well, you've been on every damn show, but tell us about this most recent trip on. This was what, 2 years ago? Is that right?
That was 2020, the Halloween Wars.
Oh wow, okay, 2020.
And then
this season,
current year, I guess the current. Yeah, I was on Outrageous this year, so I guess the finale was what what is it, like a month ago? Exactly a month ago now, probably.
Right. Tell us how you did on that thing.
So man, it had its ups and downs. I was in the top. I was never in the bottom. Let's not get that mission screwed. I don't want to say that.
Right.
So I was never in the bottom. So I was in mid range and the top a few times, and but I didn't win. I kind of basically came in second. But I can't gripe about the guy that won. You know, Chimenda's a mean hombre, and he's a friend of mine now. But he did a really good looking piece. Hey, look at that elephant. You know what's funny about that elephant? I showed up that day at the Oklahoma City Zoo, and they said, "You want to carve some jack-o'-lanterns?" I was like, "Yeah." And that was a fresh off Halloween Wars when that, like, no one knew I'd been there. So I'm wearing the hat that I wore on TV. You know, so I'm still at that point. I can't tell nobody. I was like, "Yeah," or I may have that wrong. But anyways, they said, "You want to carve some jack-o'-lanterns?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to. I'll just show up." And it was a freebie. I just thought exposure. And I show up, and they have these giant ones. This little kid grew these pumpkins and donated them to the zoo. And they said, "We have a baby elephant." I was like, "All right, cool." Because I did some other things later at the zoo that day and the next day, but I didn't have anything to carve. I brought a couple tools for jack-o'-lanterns. I didn't bring stuff to really do a pumpkin. So they said, "We're having a baby elephant born." I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna do a baby elephant." And so but how I stuck all that together, I wasn't prepared. I went to the hot dog vendor. They build their own hot dogs there, or corn dogs, I mean. And I borrowed some of the corn dog sticks from the guy. And then that's what I stuck it all together with.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Is that, you know.
So would you end up actually sculpting it with if you just had like
I just had
jack-o'-lanterns?
small tools. That's what I used. I just had a few. I mean, you can't see it now. I mean, you got that on the screen, but like your standard issue small tools that you would like what we're using now. I didn't have any big things. I didn't have any big skinners. I didn't have any knives. I didn't have anything like that. We had no super glue. I think I borrowed a scouring pad from like the lady walking by that was going to go clean. It's like I just put it together because I was just going to carve, just some random faces. And so you know how you if you know you're doing something bigger, you prep and have some bigger tools, some different things. But I just kind of pulled that one out of nowhere.
Well, back to your time on Outrageous. Were you on that before? For some reason, I think you've been on it twice. That's not right, is it?
No, not. Okay. Hopefully, you never know. But no, I've just aired this year.
Okay, that's right. For some reason, I was thinking. I mean, you've been on quite a few different.
Well, I was an alternate the year before.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we heard talking about it. That's cool. So that was at a farm in like Virginia or something, right?
Yeah, Outrageous. Yeah, it's in Virginia, just outside of Richmond. It's really cool there, though. I mean, it's a lot of walking, though. They always want you to walk around and do this and do that, and it's always uphill. I swear, every which way. So this thing's excited, right?
It's exciting.
Okay.
Are you excited? Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just trying to plot stuff. I ain't done nothing but, skin a squash. But before I started figuring out how I was going to make him excited.
Oh yeah, he's this thing's very excited.
Are you having that transition anxiety going back from pumpkins to squash?
No, I just know I'm on the solid end, so I can go as deep as I want.
No. Lucky.
That is the beauty of those things. Ted's hard to work on one too, and I think I don't know if you noticed a big difference yet, Ted, on working on a few of these plus pumpkins. Or do you have a preference?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just honestly into my second butternut squash because that's what I used the other day.
Yeah,
and I just love it. I mean, it like I said, it feels like kind of a really hard like Monster Clay or Chavant or something like that. So
yeah.
And I do like it as it warms up a little bit. It's a little bit softer, a little bit easier to move around. Mine's straight out of the fridge. So,
oh, even better. Now it looks like Jonathan's got a good start going too. What do you got going over there? Just doing some initial blocking.
Trying to figure out how to make a 3-eyed critter look excited.
That's the beauty and the anxiety of the damn wheel.
Yes.
But don't let him lie. He likes the weird. If you need something weird, that's your guy. So this ought to be right.
Yeah. No pressure.
In general?
Just look at him. That's weird. And he is my older brother, by the way.
Okay. Well, how many brothers do you have?
Just that one. Why? I don't know. If you count them all up, he's the only full blood.
So
I
now,
like how
John,
you
do
said,
you
I
do
don't
any
know.
events? Do you do any events with Dan throughout the year? Or Danny, do you have plans to start bringing Jonathan around with you?
If he would show up, yeah. No, I'm like, no, I live an hour and a half away from him, so it doesn't. We see each other a lot because I'm an electrician and he's an electrician, but he sells electrical parts at the moment, so I see him a lot.
I got on the easy side of it, man. Getting called out at 3 a.m. ain't worth the flip, man.
Oh, you make
that
that
a lot easier to supply them. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it just seems like a easier way to make money.
Now, did you guys, being the non-pumpkin circuit guy here, did you guys all meet on the pumpkin carving circuit or on one of the shows or?
Well, I watched their seasons and I didn't actually meet them. I met Paul and Matt after Halloween Wars, to be honest. That was the first time I was on, I think, is when we had Lenny was on. Lenny popped in and Danny Kissel. I think it was me and Lenny, and I had horrible service, so I kept falling out. But Danny Kissels popped in, which since then I've got to meet him. Really cool guy. But I think the first time I met Matt and Paul were on the show, just right after that first season that I was on.
You were episode 2 of
That was me and Jim Bill, wasn't it? It was me and Jim Bill.
Yeah.
Look
at that.
Or Jim Bill and I. Yeah. Just use some grammar.
So effectively, Ted, he's an OG. He's an OG.
Yes.
Ted's an OG. First seasoner. Now we're in the 4th season, episode many, and I don't know, hundreds at this point, or 100 plus. We'll call it that way.
Yeah.
You know what? And one thing I love talking about too, and I think we've touched on this before, Daniel, is your wood. And I'm pulling up a picture here of this cool eagle because I think you talked about this is how you got started pumpkin carving was doing.
Oh yeah. So that's all one piece of aside from the nest, it's all one piece of wood. The nest, I was trying to find driftwood to piece together, but I couldn't find the wood that I wanted to piece the nest. So that's all grapevine I pulled out of a tree. But the rest of it's one piece of wood carved on. There's nothing added except for the paint. But that was just a mother eagle with 2 little chicks, and I thought it was kind of cool. But the funny part about that one is it sat carved for probably 6 months because I was trying to find. I didn't want to just do any old nest. I wanted to make it look the way I wanted, so I just left it sitting in the back burner. Then by the time, and it's cedar, so cedar grays over and all that stuff. So when I finally thought I'm going to do it with grapevine, then I had to buff the whole daggum thing off again and then paint it. Otherwise, I was going to leave it a cedar piece, but I couldn't get rid of all the patina that it gathers being unfinished,
Okay.
So that's why I painted that one. I don't, I paint them if they need it, but that one, I feel like it was a good choice painting that one. But yeah, so the wood, so it's funny. So I've been in art my whole life. So is my brother. My mom's got a master's in art. So it's just like what we do. Like, that's just our thing. And our background's actually fine art. And so, I don't know, you go on in life and then I'll make it quick. It was
take your time.
We're on vacation and they won't quit calling me, and it's just bugging the crap out of me. Right? They won't quit calling me. I got my mom, my kids, my wife. We're in Arkansas, and it's the middle of the night. Right? We're trying to get back to the campsite. I'm trying to enjoy vacation, but work won't leave me alone. And so I just rolled down the window and started howling. Oh, like for Bigfoot, just like as a joke.
Yeah.
Because I was like, looks squatchy, and so we cooked up an idea about a story about Bigfoot, and so. Anything to do with art, I get home, we'll write a book, a children's book called Myth Hollow about Bigfoot, just so I could do the illustrations for it. Right? Well, it gets published, but so the book about Bigfoot leads me into wood carving. I never carved with a chainsaw in my life until right then. My buddies knew I was writing a book about Bigfoot, and they were giving me hell about it. Like, oh, why don't you go find a Bigfoot? Why don't you carve a Bigfoot? Mirror. Because I was cutting a tree down in my yard, and I just had no Poland Pro junky chainsaw, and I was just hacking it down because it's falling on my fence. And I said, all right, you sorry dogs, come back tomorrow and I'll have a Bigfoot. And so they come back the next day, and I'd carved I used the stump and made a 5 foot tall foot with a 3-foot pair of toenails.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, so in my yard, there's just a giant. There's a picture somewhere on Instagram about that, but it's just a 5-foot tall foot. That's my very first carving. My boss at the time saw it and goes, "Hey man, can you carve a eagle?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You ever done it?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna borrow your chainsaw." So I borrowed his saw, carved him an eagle, just a perched eagle, and he loved it and said, "I want another one." I said, "Cool, I want that saw." So he gave me the saw, I carved him another one. Fast forward a year, and I sold a piece to Blake Shelton, and then all of it led from that. I started watching all the pumpkin stuff on TV, and I was like, "Man, I got to get in on that too, because that looks like fun."
Okay.
And fast forward when I got into the pumpkins, so art led into wood led into pumpkins, and then after I won, I got in touch with Tater Edwards, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I won now. I feel like I can holler at you." And so that was what you're showing there. That's in Fairbanks. That was just a snow sculpture. They had they packed snow, and it's a 9-foot T-Rex. They said, "You can do whatever you want." I was like, "Cool, I'm going to do a T-Rex." They're like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, why not? It sounds fun." And so I knocked that one out in about 7 or 8 hours, something like that.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue because, like you said, you went wood to pumpkin to ice and snow. Was this your first snow thing you made?
That's my first that big. No, like I've been carving snow. I say carving, sculpting snow since I was looking like every little kid does. But I didn't just make snowmen. Neither did my brother. I made like a snow dragon, looked like a serpent coming in and out of the ground, and made a pig one year, and just and we made a Yoda, like a baby Yoda out of snow. But it's all what we could pile up. You know what I mean? It's kind of like someone building a sandcastle on the beach. What you can pile up. Well, up here, a lot like sand sculpture, they'll pack it in forms. And that's what they did there. And so I basically had a shovel that had a sharpened tip, and I just went to hacking at that thing. And then I used a horse brush to smooth it out. And then I used this guy. That was the only other tool. Like just your regular standard issue, like the tool you normally use to strip a pumpkin with.
Right.
You know what I mean? That one, I broke that one, but you can see the shape. That was all I used on that whole deal. A shovel, that, and a horse brush.
Show that again.
The tool?
Yeah.
I broke that one recently. I gotta make me another one. It's another one of those deer antler ones.
Oh, that's pretty cool. By the way, he makes his own tools, guys, if you can't tell.
Yeah. Sorry.
Very cool.
But I break them a lot, so it's cheaper that way.
Yeah. Cheaper and better, usually.
I mean, you make them because you know what you've got to do with them. So,
yeah, exactly. So talk about ice too, because I know you've done a lot of ice in the last few years. I know you're going to get back up there again. So tell us about how this has been.
Oh, so the ice that's crazy. What you can't tell about the battle, the picture that's on screen now, is 18 feet wide and 16 feet tall. There's 9 blocks. Each block is 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide, or 4 foot wide, 3.5 foot deep, thick, depending on the freeze. And so you have 9 blocks, roughly 3,500 pounds, and 4 guys in 6 days. And that was a team effort. That was me, Tater, Jeff. Jeff's going to hate me for that, for not remembering his last name. But I met him then. I hadn't met him since.
You got to be more of an impression on you is what I'm hearing. Okay.
Yeah. No, Jeff, I know his name. And y'all would probably know it too because he's really well known for this kind of stuff. I'm just drawing a blank. But anyway, so that was the battle. That was our 4-man piece. But it's really a battle to do it because like you're in the element. You're outside. You're not in there's some mornings it's so cold you can't touch the ice. With metal, your metal will be out there the same temp, your tools, but if you set it on there, it'll fracture the ice. So everything's temperature dependent, and and you only have 6 days, and everyone's dealing with the same thing. It's just I don't know, man. It's really cool. It's a whole different.
What's the difference, like when you're sculpting a piece like that outside versus, I'm assuming you've smaller pieces that would go indoors. Is there one that you prefer over the other, and like sculpting outdoors as opposed to indoors, or? What's the benefits?
My ice experience, I don't do a lot because I don't have access to a lot of the tools for ice sculpting are a lot more expensive.
Sure.
So I really rely on my teammates, or like yesterday, I was in Plano, Texas with Dean Demirez. Really, like he's actually a world champion. I think he was last year's world champ, if I remember right. If not, he was the year before. But it's funny. I went all the way. He's at 2 hours from me. And I went all the way to daggum Fairbanks to meet the guy. I met him there, and I was like, dude, we're neighbors. So, anyways, he's been having me come carve with him and stuff. So I did one. We did a 7-foot reindeer yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I haven't posted it yet. I should. But So we carved it for an event, and it was but the temperature is like 60 degrees, so this thing's just trying to melt the whole time. So if I had my choice, I prefer it about 20 degrees outside and to carve outside, because I can't imagine carving inside. I haven't had to carve inside yet, I don't guess. So the melt factor, like there, you can cut it, leave it, and not worry about it, but
Right.
And you're limited. And as soon as your ice starts warming up, and I know that sounds weird, ice is cold, right? But as soon as your ice starts warming up past a certain point, you can no longer fuse it together. So you'll have to use like dry ice or something like that to cool it down even further, so you can make a fusion. So definitely prefer it way colder outside, even though it's rougher on you.
But
So the
like you were saying, if
pieces
it
like
gets
that,
too cold, it can fracture the ice.
Yeah, if it's too cold, like if it gets like minus 20, you really don't want to be touching the ice with your tools. You got to let it warm up. The outside temperature warm up a little bit. There's other things to do. So that picture there, that was an ice fight. That was a quickie. There's a 45-minute. That's 3 blocks. Those blocks weigh 300 pounds. You stack them up, and it was we're right in the middle of an ice fight. And so we were just basically on the stage and taking cues from the crowd and saying, "What do we want to do?" And I think Dean, that was the year before. Dean did a polar bear, and I was just working on an elf. And it's just you're just talking smack to each other and slinging ice.
Is that a chainsaw you did the majority of that with?
Yeah. You hack as much as you can with the chainsaw, and then you come in. They call it a pickle fork, but it's like the head for a sheep shear. Is what it looks like.
Okay.
But and lots of chisels, but like you do a bunch of different techniques. And I'm no pro at it. I just got lucky enough to be in with enough of them that I got my way into the world championships. What happened? I knew I got it.
Well, it's part of a team too, right? So you got to find people that are willing to get up there, and it's almost
see that also led into, like, I didn't just do the team this last time I was there. I did the team, I did the 2-man team, and then I did the single block competition by myself. So you get a single block 3 days, and I did a piece. There's like somewhere on there, there's an alligator that's stretched out. It's 11 foot long, but that was my single block piece. I did it in 3 days, but it's a lot of fun. So I competed solo and I competed on teams too. First year I went, though, we crashed. Our piece crashed. Day 6, 30 minutes left. And we had I think it was 42 foot long dragon, 16 foot wings. And we took the stanchion out from below the head it was supporting. And it stood 24 hours with the head outreached like this with its mouth open. And then we thought, let's go ahead and support that, right? Just to be safe, because it's going to be another 2 days before the end. We just want them to take no chances. And so in the process of that, our seam didn't go as well as we thought, where we seamed the neck. So what happened was we scaled the thing, put all the scales on it. Well, we cut past the part that actually fused and didn't know it. So when we cut that stanchion out, day 6, guess what happened? That head came crashing down. Boy, it was
nuts.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Yeah. So that's all that work you spent the whole time working on it, and then you don't get scored after that, or you're done.
Well, you could turn in a bad piece, or not a bad piece. You could turn in a incomplete piece.
Okay.
Tater looked at me and goes, "What do you think?" And I said, my exact words is, "Mom didn't raise but one sissy, and he's still in Oklahoma, John." And so we tried to get it up, and we had it up. The second time we had everything pieced back together. Now it didn't look great, but we had it back together. When we're just working like a frenzy, and we had the head and the yoke holding it up. And the second time we put it up, it fell down. Tater looked at me and I was like, "Just go for it." And he's like, "Yep, you're right." So we went 5 minutes past the buzzer, got disqualified, but we had a complete piece. So it was and when they scored us on even with the broke piece or the disqualified piece, just to give us something to go off of, and we were in the top 3 with the broke piece.
Wow.
So I was like, "Golly, man."
Yeah, at that point, it's just about finishing it. You can't give it up.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I would have rather had it complete. I wouldn't change nothing the way we did, except breaking it. But
well, sure.
Other than that, I wouldn't change nothing.
Damn, that stinks. Well, we do have a few pictures of pumpkins you've done. I think these are also noteworthy. We'll call them some pretty good ones in here. Just share with this group here. I kind of like this relief looking. This looks like a nice big thick one too, huh?
Yeah, that's one of those 90. It was actually 80, but we had a bunch with rotten spots, and that one actually had a rotten spot. I just used it anyway at Hamilton. that was part of the Operation Pumpkin, and I was like, hell, I'm gonna do Frankenstein. And it was, I saw, you got to understand, he looks like it was gonna look more like an old classic movie one when I started, and I was looking, the angle was gonna be like you're looking up at him. You know what I mean? And so that's why the nose is pugged back. But the more I went into it, I changed the angle of the face, and then realized they wouldn't let us add nothing because they had to be, they had to last 2 or 3 days. So if you added, it would shrivel. So I just had to give him a pug nose, and so he looks like the guy off Mad Magazine, and Frankenstein had a baby. So it's Alfred E. Newman.
Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it came out great. I mean,
That's
you got to
a
have
cool
a real
name.
big pumpkin to achieve that.
I was gonna say it looks like he's so set back into it. There's the only way to get that is with that super thick one. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's at Britain. So that one, I had fun with that one. That one's a fun one. So how that one came about, there's this little girl at the store up here. They're not here. I guess they moved. But at the store I go to every morning before I go to work and get my drink and whatever, is they had this little girl that would wait on school, and she had a mouthful of braces, and she said, and I would drop every day when I carve the pumpkins, I just take them to the store and drop them off, and let kids and mess with them, blah, blah, blah. So she asked me, would you make a brace face pumpkin? I said, yeah, I'll make him look just like you. So I brought that one the next morning. It didn't look anything like her except for the braces, but that's why that one became about. A little kid asked me, can you make a brace face?
Cute.
Damn right I can.
That's cute. Did you cut the braces themselves out of the rind?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I wanted it to have a little bit of contrast, so I put the rind on it.
Looks cool. Very fun. This one was cool too. And Ted, before the show started, was talking about some of the movement you put in yours, like the twisted faces and stuff like that. This one certainly kind of is in that.
Yeah, so I used a little bit of brown paint on that, and then just because I don't know why, I played with stuff. But if you see the pumpkin on the left side when you're looking at it, you see that indent. The whole pumpkin was twisted. And so that was the inspiration for that. I thought, hell, I'm going to twist a face in this thing.
Oh, very
And
cool.
that's just what it wound up being. But then I thought I wanted the undercuts I was having trouble lighting with my pictures, so I just used a little bit of brown paint and went onto the undercuts and just some of the deep spots, and it worked out kind of an accent thing. I don't paint them unless I have to, but it kind of worked on that one. But that's the only color used was brown. It was just in the dark. You can see it now. I probably told it now you're not happy with it.
Now I don't like this one at all for some reason.
Yeah, right.
That
That seems to be the new thing that everybody's doing. I love how it's the this brown highlight paint.
No, it's just for shadow. I just did that.
Obviously, a couple other.
But that one's actually a couple years old. That one there. I was just trying things out.
Oh, speaking of paint, you had some of these other ones that I looked at on your Instagram with the clown faces.
Oh well, now clowns kind of need paint, so I painted a few clowns.
And it just I like the idea, because honestly, I haven't seen painted pumpkins like that. Where it's a sculpted pumpkin, and then it's got the paint on it. It just adds so much character to it. I really enjoy it.
Well, I like it. Like on the clown, it needed it because they're clowns. It makes them look like a dirty old circus clown, or like an evil one. But like you can use it too far. You know what I mean? I like to see the carving, and I feel like on the clowns, like it needs it, but you can use it to where it still shows your carving. I just don't like to do it to hide stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to.
No, it doesn't look like you've hidden anything. There's the one character that's the clown that's very elongated, but really nice stem on it, and but
but you know what I mean. You'll see some of them that are just so painted. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. That they're you can't tell the carve from the paint job, and I like to be able to see the carve through the paint job.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at that point too, you may as well be making like a rubber mask or something, and it's not a pumpkin anymore.
I think they look weird when they have too much paint on them. I've been looking at a lot of them, and it's like you don't see the pumpkin, you just see the paint job.
Right.
Yeah, there's something to it. There's something to it because if you are carving a pumpkin, people want to see that it's a pumpkin, not otherwise it could be clay or it could be whatever you want it.
Right.
And it just boils down to if you're a good painter, your paint jobs are going to look nice. But if you're a sculptor or a pumpkin artist that's throwing paint on it and you don't paint a lot, it's going to show.
Yeah, that's true too.
And I feel like a lot of the shows lately have been pushing so much paint on the pumpkins that I think people get put in uncomfortable situations where they have to paint them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, if that becomes the fad, then that's what people want. And
I don't think it's what people want. I think it's what the network wants. They want to see more color, which isn't necessary. And the people making these decisions haven't carved a pumpkin in their life. So
Ain't that the truth?
yeah.
Well, it's funny because like when I was on Halloween Wars, and Daniel, you would probably know this. It's like they come out, they see what you make, all this stuff like that. I had never painted one before, but the expectation is anything you carve most of the time is going to be painted when you get on.
Oh yeah, no, you have to. Like that octopus you
so
shot on there, I had to paint it, but the paint I had to use food safe paint, which was basically food coloring, and the acid in the pumpkin reacts with it, and black turns blue. You know, like it's just I won, but like I was not happy with the paint. That was, if I'm going to paint it, I want to use paint. I don't want to use damn food coloring, but it works.
Scoreboard, just tell them scoreboard.
There's another one on your Instagram. I want to ask you a question. I'm looking at it right now, but it's a very green. It's a Frankenstein. It's very green tone to it. Is that the pumpkin or is that paint as well?
I'm not sure which one it is. I don't
pull
remember painting Frank green. I played a lot with lighting there for a minute, different colored lighting, like ring lights and stuff. And that may be one I used the green ring light on.
But
no. That's just that pumpkin. Yeah,
okay.
No, that's I don't even remember what breed that one is. But that's the pumpkin skin. I thought it kind of looked like Stallone had a Frankenstein baby. It's kind of what it looks like.
Keep it there. I want to see that one again.
The skin is just the color. Yeah.
Dude, that's cool looking. What kind of pumpkin is that? That's wild.
I mean, it's like a gourd or something, but like the meat, it's a lot like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like some of the Hubbards have green meat.
That's really
when you
cool.
cut into them, that one just had green meat.
It's perfect for the character too. I mean, you've got Frankenstein's monster, and it's green. So
yeah,
why not?
But yeah, it was supposed to be kind of a more serious piece. Mine tend to take on more of a funny one. Even when I think it's serious, we're like, "Oh man, that's funny." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. That's what I meant." The more that one developed, the more it looked like Stallone had a Frankenstein. It's like
Stallone had a stroke and became Frankenstein.
No, I know. I was saying it before the show. Is like I really appreciate the character that you put into him. My wife often accuses me every character that I do has a slightly askewed face. Like a lip that's curved to one side or brows. I'm always kind of messing with it, and I enjoy like a whimsical style of sculpting and designing. But yeah, I appreciate the character that goes into yours.
Yeah, Ted, to your point, I think you can see in even the Yoda behind you has a little smirk, right?
Yeah, he's got a little, upturn. Almost everything I sculpt has got some sort of weird little upturn.
Yeah. So what is he made out of? Like what is he?
He's all foam. It's upholstery foam.
Really?
So you can see the pumpkin over my other shoulder here that I did with the guys. I think that was the first show I did with you. And that's all upholstery foam as well. Upholstery foam and latex rubber, and
that's really cool. So did you
that's
paint
been
the
my
latex
gig.
on there?
Yeah, so I sculpt the upholstery foam, and then I use latex rubber and tissue and cotton, and that creates all the texture and the fine details on it.
It's amazing. You gotta check his stuff out, Daniel, because if nothing else, I'm always amazed at how he can visualize something like that. It's like we're so used to starting with a pumpkin. We have something to start with.
Yeah,
you starting with nothing, and then making a kick-ass character like that, or even the dive helmet behind him is also foam.
Yeah,
or a lot of foam.
Cool. Is it really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's nuts.
He doesn't want to go over the weight limit in his house. He has
right. I mean, I've got bad shoulders. I got to be able to pick my work up.
This is certainly the Dan show, but I got a question specific for Ted when it comes to like because you'll see on Stan Winston's school, Ted's got a lot of really cool videos and stuff that he makes a very large characters of. If you get somebody, I mean, I'm assuming anything made out of foam is going to be light effectively, but some of those things are you like your dinosaur head. that you had that they displayed for your birthday last week or week before.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was. I mean, it's the size of a car. I mean, it's massive.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I measured it out when we originally did it. It ended up being bigger than the T-Rex head they did for Jurassic Park. But
Hey, you know what's funny about that? I don't mean to interrupt. My brother and I, with my mom, she was the artist for a place called Arbuckle Wilderness. I know y'all have all heard of Tiger King, which is the Arbuckle Wilderness is right next door to Tiger King's place. I mean, they're like 20 minutes away. But Tiger King wasn't a thing when she worked there. But anyways, they did a dinosaur park that never quite got off the ground, but the guy building the dinosaurs flaked out on them. So my mom kind of stepped in and took over. They had a team coming with animatronics, but it's more like redneck animatronics, just motors, not like servos and stuff. So my brother and I got to help build. We built a full-size Triceratops head, but we used spray foam, or we helped. My mom did it. We were we got to help build some dinosaurs that actually moved and stuff like that. But it was foam and then a lot of paint. You know, it's like, and then of course a lot of welding. But it was pretty cool. I'm trying to
primarily used the insulation foam and sculpted that.
Yeah. And so look, recently, so I'm an electrician, so we brought sometimes you have to hydrovac a hole, which means there's no dirt left. You know what a hydrovac is, where you spray the water and suck the water out, and it's because there's underground lines. So there's nothing left to put in. So to set telephone poles, they have stuff called pole foam, but it's a closed cell rigid foam. And you get a 5-gallon mix, it's like $80. And but normally you get like a 40% expansion on rigid foam. This is like an 80%. So that's going to yield a bunch. And so when we found that, we started experimenting. So we made a few things. Nothing post worthy, but we're using rigid foam to do that. And then you can sculpt it too, because it but it comes off, it cracks off like you can sand it. Right. But it makes real gritty sand. But we've been playing with that for a little bit here and trying to.
Yeah, not great stuff to inhale.
No, not at all.
We had one activate on the truck on a delivery, and the lid blew off of it out there in the shop. And I've never smelt anything that stout in a building.
Yeah,
it was something else.
A little toxic.
Yes.
Jonathan just did a pumpkin. He did like a jack-o'-lantern with a brain in it. I don't know what the hell you call it.
I posted it on TikTok and Facebook, and I would share it over to where y'all could look it up now, but I'm using that device to do this. But I've done a little bit the past couple of years, but nothing television worthy really on the pumpkins. But
Jonathan.
Been having a lot of fun with carving with Daniel from time to time. But I'll try to get those up and do what.
I was gonna say, speaking of carving with Daniel, let's take a look. Can we take a quick glimpse of what you're making there?
Oh, do that.
Oh,
yeah. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay.
Can you see it okay?
I've
just trying to get the eyes in and work my way down.
Yeah, you got a lot of real estate. That's a little big. Wow.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm
overachiever.
Yeah, Daniel. He looks like your older brother's going to be on the next show. You're out. He's in.
Listen, he's got to be on somewhere. Don't tell him I paid you.
Yeah. What do you? Let's see where you're at so far. Oh, look at that.
We're gonna get it on
cool
screen.
as hell. You've
got another one
over here. Getting after it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is really cool.
Well,
damn. That eye looks good.
Making some inroads. I don't know, Ted, Paul. You guys want to show your? Here we go. Let's put Ted's up here.
Ted's flying. You put potato teeth in it already?
No, those are the seeds.
Wow, good use of them.
Really cool. Wow, you're making good time too. Damn it.
No, what's going on here?
Oh.
Well, what do you got? Let's see yours up close.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have a problem with sculpting at a timely rate. I'm still blocking.
Well, yeah,
I'm just blocking.
Yeah, you are, but
looks
you
great.
can tell what's going on.
That's awesome.
Already.
Yep.
Yeah. Fine and forms. Fine and forms. What do you got, man?
Get mine in camera here. Let's if I can. Yeah, he's coming along. He's
Nice.
Oh, nice.
same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with his look exactly, but I guess the big thing is 3 eyes. We'll start with that.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, this is the fun part. It's like the blocking part to me is daunting, but when you start just getting a glimpse of what you're going to make, it's kind of okay, cool. Here it is. You can start digging. But sometimes you look at it, and we've talked about this a million times. You got to leave and come back and be like,
Yeah.
oh wait, it's the garbage right here. What am I doing? And the whole time you're fixated on some little part of it that was just not going the right way.
Well, see, that's the thing. You guys were talking about how I just make stuff out of foam and everything, but I usually have a plan. You know, if I'm making a Yoda or something like that, I've got to draw it out, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'll have templates and I cut it on a bandsaw and stuff. Whereas when you guys start sculpting a pumpkin, you're just going in, you know, there's no design, there's no plan. You know, I'm sure with a lot of the bigger pumpkins, you've got plans if you're doing tentacles and all that kind of stuff, but you guys are just going in, you know,
Winging it.
winging
you gotta-
it. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're no reference. You just kind of, it's part of the anxiety machine. We like creating.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, actually, it's a great question, Daniel. When it comes to you doing the big 2,200 pounders and all this other stuff, aside from doing them on TV, do you guys at these big Operation Pumpkins and stuff, like, do you do maquettes or do you do drawings of them prior because you're doing it with a team?
Yeah, well, I do. It just depends on how much. If they don't give me any time, I'm just going to wing it and go. But the 2,200 pounder, I was able to see it the night before, so I just saw the shape and kind of made me a sketch. I didn't make a full out drawing or a maquette, but I made me a sketch and just went at it the next day. Because if I draw it, I know what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so if I have the opportunity to draw something ahead of time, I will. But if not, then I just kind of go at it.
Paul, do you ever draw? Do you ever? I mean,
Me?
Yeah.
I cut as many corners as humanly possible to get it done.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I used to. I found actually an old book of I would just draw faces that I would want to do, but I feel like my process is I can draw on the pumpkin essentially. You know what I mean? If I'm making it up and if I see a face in my head, it's there, whether I draw it or sculpt it in clay or sculpt it in pumpkin, it's gonna come out the same way.
Yeah.
I'm lazy.
Yeah, I agree. After a certain point of drawing and knowing shit, like you're saying, finding the form, finding the facial plane. If you can find that plane, then you can just shoot from the hip and go at it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, that's kind of why I like the wheel too. It gives you it tells you what you're gonna do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a sign to you, so that way you're not like looking at a piece of paper or a block of clay, being like, "What am I gonna do?"
Yeah, you're not looking at 17th reference photos. They're going to wind up that being what you carve.
Right.
I was real excited to see the wheel. I think that's real cool.
Oh, it's a magical instrument, right, Paul?
It's so magical, man. Sometimes I magically want to make it disappear or magically smash it off the wall. But no, it's fun. I mean, it's tough to do it week after week and come up with a fresh idea, right? So this just keeps the ideas fresh,
Right.
and it forces you to do things in a combination that you would never really do sometimes.
Right.
Which is good.
Yeah, and being put on the spot to do it makes it, I don't know, it makes it more fun. It's all fair, you know, like you can do whatever, but you can see what everybody's doing. You know, how many options and combination of eyeballs can you make of three? And so I can see that three of us are doing them lined up and two of us are doing them kind of stacked, but it's really dependent on the material you're working with. Like we're doing butternuts, so ours are stacked like this. And I thought, man, that's going to be an original idea. And then he's got them stacked the same way. It's like,
I know. I was trying to figure out. I was like, do I put it up on the top or in the two lower ones, or?
yeah,
But
it made more
yeah,
sense that way than one upper and two lower. And I thought, oh,
Well, that's
That
the
is
other
the
thing too, is the shape. You we're locked into a shape, right? So,
yeah.
you know, that's the beauty of having the freedom of doing like foam or clay, right? You like Ted, you can map out what shape you want.
Well, at least with clay, you can just add. It's like, I don't like that, or I can scrape that away. And it's some of the things I'm learning now, just having done this a few times with you guys. Especially with the butternut and into the pumpkin, just what I start sculpting like the eye or something. It's like, well, the eye should be further back from the nose, so I actually got to start digging in deeper for like the cheekbones and the eyeballs, because the nose should be out further.
Mm-hmm.
So it's learning, kind of where do you start? How much do you take away at first?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no go backs.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Sculpting in clay or sculpting in foam, I can always add a piece of foam if I need to, or certainly add clay into a piece. But yeah, with the pumpkin, you're kind of, or any kind of gourd, like you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But then I guess you just get creative.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You find a new way to stack things or fit geometry into the shape, and
You
And
sculpt
hope you don't-
it in a way.
and hope you don't
that's what I
screw
meant
it up.
to do.
Yeah. Then you say I meant to do that all along. That's what you
Yeah,
tell
exactly.
yourself.
Dude, that's so funny because people say, "What are you carving?" And I said, "Oh, it's going to be a face, a scary face, or this kind of face." And they said, "What's it going to look like?" I said, "You just have to wait and see."
Yeah, I don't know idea.
Because I don't know what the hell it's going to turn out like. And they say, "Man, that's exactly what you thought." Hell yeah, it is. And they're like,
That's
"Man,
it.
Oh, yeah.
great."
You never tell anybody you don't know.
oh,
Yeah.
It's a
the best
surprise.
reason not to use reference.
Yeah. The anxiety of the wheel is one thing, but I think what's also really cool to see is like you mentioned, Daniel, like what 5 different minds come up with the same prompt is also super fun. Paul and I, if you look back at all of ours, we rarely do something close to each other. Like it's like different directions, but it says the same thing. It's a scared, Frankenstein or whatever it is, and you can see it in it, but it's the way he went at it, the way I went at it is very different.
Yeah, there's been a couple times on some subjects that you just can't escape being similar to, that they
Yeah.
bear some resemblance. But yeah, for the most part, they're completely different.
Yeah, but doing this kind of stuff with other
Yes.
artists breeds, or maybe the wrong word, but it feels like it breeds, not excellence, but like it makes you better, because you're seeing other people, what they did, how you did it, and then you're going to pick something up each time from some. It doesn't matter if you carved it before, but you're going to see a different way to look at it, and then I like the whole vibe.
Yeah,
Breeds
You can always-
creativity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the word I was looking for.
I think you're always going to pick up a technique or a style or some sort of little detail from somebody else that it's like, oh, that would look cool this time. You just remember that, and
Oh, sure. That's
Yeah.
when you get excited when you have the idea that would just be the inspiration too, though, right? When you see
Right.
something that somebody else did, and you're like, I can put that to good use.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever mess with paper clay or make
I
your own or anything?
Yeah,
I haven't.
I've done a lot of this Baba Yaga house. I had a lot of paper clay on that, and I've worked with it. The hardest part is making it too thick, and then it takes forever to dry.
Oh, really?
I can. I've got a lot of paper clay sculptures I can get. I'll post up. I like making my own clay, and it's a lot of fun.
I was just glancing at your Baba Yaga back there. It is nicely appointed with some snow and lights.
So
Baba
festive.
Yaga, she's got to enjoy the holidays as well. So
Right.
I adorned the.
Oh, it's so cool. What did you use for the snow, Paul? Because it looks like it's actually been melting. It's pretty.
It's just
pretty
fleece.
cool.
It's just
Really?
fleece. I just cut out some pieces and draped it over. But the
Oh,
best, I
goodness.
got little candy canes up here in the tree.
Holy crap! I love that.
Hey, that's what Amazon's good for. Little miniature Christmas lights and candy canes.
Right. Thank you, Amazon. Yeah,
Exactly.
one call does it all. We're I hate to say it, fellas, we're kind of getting to the end of our rope here. We've spent an hour, and we had a lot of fun with our buddy. Actually, I don't know what number is this, Daniel. Is this like the 4th time you've been on?
I think it is number 4.
Number 4, I think so.
I think it's more like 3.5 because that one that I was on there for 10 minutes and my service didn't work. Remember?
Oh yeah. We'll call it a solid 4. We'll give it.
Okay.
Yeah, you get credit. You get the
Credit. Hell yeah.
Well, credit also because if you guys recall on an episode a long time ago, he had to have somebody run a laptop across the field, made it at like 2 seconds still or something. That was fun.
That was hilarious.
It worked though. You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's
That's
it.
right.
So,
This is
Danny,
where-
this is where. Oops, sorry. This is where we can find you on Instagram. Where else can we find you or Jonathan?
Well, that's the same. It's same Instagram or Facebook. That the same thing will get me.
Okay.
Beauty.
I love it. So go check it. Go check his stuff out. Like Ted was talking about, there's a lot of different stuff on there that kind of different. He skirts a lot of different mediums, which is really fun to see that he's got his jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Right.
That's right.
Better be a little bit good at everything. It's probably better.
Well, this is where you can find us. We're on all the social media platforms. Make sure you give us a like and a follow, and tell a friend, obviously. And from everybody here, we'd like to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Santa's good to you.
That's right.
Maddie, you got anything else you want to add?
No, just a big thank you also to Ted for jumping in and getting us in the holiday spirit as well. And good to meet you, Jonathan. And Daniel, you're always welcome back. Love it when you're on, because we sometimes just miss a good old we need some kind of down home discussion with somebody, and you always come through. So thank you.
Thank you.
Cut from the cloth. Love
Exactly.
Nice. Oh,
Well, have a great one. I guess we'll see you next week, right, Paul?
yeah. For another episode of Carvers and Creators. Night, everybody.
Good night, guys.